G'day there guys, basically any character from Silicon Valley minus the intelligence here, back at it again with another episode of r/am I the a-hole. Now if anyone is the a-hole today, I want you to smash that comment button, like, subscribe, tell me what you think about it, sit back, relax, enjoy a prawn on the Barbie, and enjoy the bloody good content. I know that's a lot, but I trust you. Posted by user Ruins of Aslant, titled, Am I the a-hole? Wife 32 wants to get rid of our dog. I, 30, do not. So, my wife and I have been married for 3 years. Having grown up with dogs all her life, she insisted we get a puppy once we were married. We both work from home, so there is always someone in the house with her. I'd never have a dog before, but could see this was important to her, so said yes and got us a pup. My wife never really bonded with the dog as I did, and I'm the dog's favorite. I do the majority of walks, training, and playing with the dog. I think she expected a puppy to act like a full-grown dog and not need direction and training. We live near my in-laws, and they have asked to have the dog stay over quite often, as theirs recently died and they were missing having a pet around. The dog gets on well with them, so I allowed it. There didn't seem to be any issues with this. We now have a 2-year-old child, and my wife is pregnant with another baby. She has recently said she feels like she would be overwhelmed being on maternity leave for 15 months with a toddler, baby, and dog to look after, and wants her parents to take the dog permanently. They have joked about doing so ever since we got the dog, and I've always been clear they could only take it if I died. I do occasionally travel for work, maybe I'm away 5 days a month, so could see how it may be difficult on those days that I'm not around. But otherwise, I feel like it was her decision to get a dog, and it's not a decision you can lightly go back on, even if it would be staying in the wider family. I would miss having the dog around, but my wife thinks I'm being unfair to her, and to the children and dog. She feels she wouldn't be able to give any of them the attention they deserve if she had to manage them all, when the in-laws are ready and willing to take the dog. Ultimately, I think she regrets getting the dog and doesn't want to have to put up with the additional cleaning and responsibility that comes with one, particularly when she has what she sees as a win-win in terms of still seeing the dog several times a week through the in-laws, but having no other responsibilities. Am I the a-hole for wanting to keep the dog? Extra info, I work 5 days a week, my wife works 2. My child is in nursery 2 days a week, with my wife 1 day a week, and with my parents 2 days a week. I then have her on Saturdays, and we do family activities on Sundays. We have a fairly even chore split. I handle our land, cooking, ironing, and vacuum cleaning. She handles polishing, laundry, and bathroom/kitchen cleaning. I feel like a dog is a family member, and I feel like you've got to keep family around when it's in dog form because they're extra cute. To me, it feels like the wife is kind of just making an excuse to try and get rid of the dog and palm it off to the relatives, as he said, that she wouldn't have any other responsibilities and that's her main concern. Again, if it isn't the consequences of my actions. I wanted a dog, but I don't want the dog aspects of the dog, just the companionship. Opie, I don't think you're an a-hole for wanting to keep the dog. I feel like this is something you need to communicate with her better about, because obviously right now you aren't on the same level about it, but I do hope you come to a diplomatic solution with her. Opie, not the a-hole. If you only travel 5 days a month, that is a very small window of time that she has the dog and the kids. I swear the dog will be fine with less attention those days. Maybe the days you have traveling is when the pup could spend the night with the in-laws? That way she isn't overwhelmed and she can't say you left her with extra responsibility. It sounds like she might be a wee bit jealous the dog didn't bond with her as much as it did with you. That happened with my parents, and my mum kind of resented the dog. 5 days a month, every month, is a lot, and it doesn't sound like the wife gets any time off herself. I don't think Opie is the a-hole for wanting to keep the dog, but he needs to recognize that dealing with 2 kids and a dog is a lot. I think having joint custody with the in-laws when Opie is out of town is a good compromise. This is a great idea. Doggy grandparent staycation for 5 days a month. I used to drop my dog off at a parent's before work and collect him after work. Before the dog died, of course. Bonus for my parents to pamper me and the dog, and bonus for me for free dog sitters and food to take home. Also, cool to catch up with and keep them busy. If they're happy, I'm happy. Until the dog died. God, why do you have to keep putting that in there? Damn it, I knew I should have gotten an identical dog and kept pretending, like they did with my goldfish. 5 days a month is not a lot. Not for someone who got a dog expecting to care and own it for 24/7 until death. Wife is the a-hole. OP is not the a-hole. Don't get animals you can't care for. If a dog is so hard, God help that second child. No a-holes here. Of course you're not an a-hole for wanting to keep the dog, but I'm not sure she is either, based on the fact it seems to only be the parents she's wanting to give it to, i.e., she knows they are suitable and can still check on the dog. Her reasons are justified also. Perhaps a hard and difficult conversation is due. Yeah, she would be an a-hole if she wanted to abandon the dog, but if her parents would be great dog owners, she isn't an a-hole for suggesting this. It's a decision she and OP have to make together, but I don't think it's wrong of her to bring up the idea. It honestly just seems like she knows her boundaries and wants the best for the dog. The in-laws could always just take the dog for the time she is on maternity leave, or come over often to help. No a-holes here. Right? She's a woman in her 30s who has grown up with dogs, but OP reduced her to the likes of an inexperienced, jealous kid who regrets getting a dog because she's lazy, irresponsible, and mad that the dog doesn't love her as much as it loves him. In the second and last paragraph, that is. I want to say no a-holes here too, but I don't like his tone. Info. Why is she having to manage them all? What are you doing to help with the kids? OP replies, probably poor phrasing, sorry. Obviously I'm doing nothing for the unborn one at the moment, but for my 2-year-old I do plenty. I have her every Saturday for daddy child days while my wife does her hobby. I do all the meals when I'm in the house, and we split the bath time and bedtime routines. Info. Do you both work equal amounts? You said you do all the meals when you're home. Does your wife do all the cleaning and laundry? She gets Saturdays off. What days do you take off? No. I work 5 days a week, my wife works 2. My child is in nursery 2 days a week, with my wife 1 day a week, and with my parents 1 day a week. I then have her on Saturdays, and we do family activities on Sundays. We have a fairly even chore split. I handle our land, cooking, ironing, and vacuum cleaning. She handles polishing, laundry, and bathroom/kitchen cleaning. Hold the phone. If I'm reading this correctly, your wife is only fully responsible with no assistance for the child and dog for 1 day of the whole week, and can't even handle that? Jesus! Not the a-hole in any way, keep your dog. Posted by user Attention to Detail. Titled, Am I the a-hole for being concerned with my boyfriend's obsession with apples? So my boyfriend takes the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, very, very serious. He usually has a minimum of 3 apples a day. The first one he eats in the car on the way to work. He tells me just how he throws the apple core out of the window into grass, which is a bit douchey for littering in my opinion, but whatever. I don't think that's littering, that's natural, it's just going to be eaten by the grass. The second, he usually eats before or after lunch. Then the third is before he brushes his teeth at night. Not gonna lie, I don't think this is healthy. I mean, it's bad to have things in excess, right? I understand that apples are good for you, but this is a tad bit too far, not to mention it can become kind of expensive and takes up a significant amount of space in the fridge. He wants his apples cold and crispy. So it was my turn to get groceries. The store was a complete clusterfuck, and I was stressed trying to social distance, and I completely forgot to get the apples, as well as some other things too. It was not malicious at all, and I only realized this once we got home and unpacked the food. He starts losing his crap, that he's only got enough apples to last till the end of the day, and he needs it for his drive to work tomorrow. I said, "You need it? What's gonna happen if you don't have a morning apple?" He claims that it just gets his day going, that eating the apple calms his mind down and eases stress. I told him that this makes me a bit concerned, and that there's other healthier ways of coping, and offered to find a therapist for him. That seems like a bit much, OP. Well, he wasn't happy with that. He visibly got stressed out and just hopped in the car. I suppose he went to the grocery store because he came back with a couple of bags of apples, but he locked himself in the basement and hasn't come out since. What have I done wrong in this situation? I'm just concerned for him. This reads like a fever dream. This man with bags of apples locking himself in my basement is my sleep paralysis demon. His energy scares me, but he's truly a man dedicated, and I can respect that. I think he's using it like other people use a cup of coffee in the morning, and we know how some people get when they can't have their coffee, they can't have their cigarettes. It's just not good to keep them away from their coping mechanisms. I don't think a therapist is the right option in this one here. I think you let the man have his apples. They're very good for you. Apples taste good, and you can't blame him for wanting more apples. I mean, man's gotta get what he gotta get. OP, you're an a-hole for forgetting his apples. How dare you? How dare you? You're an a-hole. I don't know. It's a silly situation. You're the a-hole. Maybe he has an addiction to eating apples, but it sounds like a very healthy addiction. We all have our vices, and he chose something that's good for him. You're the a-hole for discouraging that and making him feel like something is wrong with him for enjoying apples every day. By the way, this is the most bizarre Am I the A-hole I've read in a long time. I keep imagining him in the basement munching angrily on apples. Lol, I imagine him caressing them and whispering, "I won't let you take them away from me. I won't let her take you away from me, apples." Wolf Caroling reckons, "You literally cannot get addicted to apples. They aren't Vicodin. I'm autistic and like to eat the same thing day after day. There's nothing wrong or bad about it. I wish I wanted apples instead of caramel bars." Hey, no offense, but people's addictions work in different ways. There's no drugs and gambling, but you can get addicted to that. No reason someone else couldn't get addicted to apples. It's just weird as hell. You're the a-hole. 1,000,000 people have this exact relationship with coffee, and we don't judge them. Apples are healthier and more beneficial than coffee, though he should stop being a trash panda and throwing the cores out the window. They'll attract wildlife to the road corridor, which doesn't end well for the wildlife. I didn't think of that. If my wife came home without the coffee, I wouldn't throw a fit. Supermarkets are crazy right now. I'd just get a takeaway coffee in a drive-thru, or something. The wife wasn't hostile or disrespectful. You're the a-hole, but I'm super curious what a more healthy way to relieve stress is other than eating a dang apple. Also, do you realize we're supposed to eat lots of fruits and veggies a day? I wish I could relieve stress with a goddamn apple instead of my current vices. Can you imagine seeking help for that? Apples Anonymous, the new AA. Hi, I'm OP, and I like apples. It's a problem. I wake up in a cold sweat thinking of the apples in the pig's mouth during a hog roast. When I'm awake, it's so hard to avoid temptation. Apple computers, brochures for the Big Apple, the staff at McDonald's asking if I'd like to add an apple pie for just 49 cents. Then there's those fruckers with them Adam apples. Seriously, most of us would kill to have eating 3 apples a day be our unhealthiest trait. Posted by user, deleted. Titled, Am I the a-hole for publicly shaming my ex-girlfriend who is an aspiring Instagram model? I have a 17-year-old daughter. I'm not her bio dad, but I've been in her life since she was 4 and I married her mum. We divorced when she was 13, and unfortunately, her mother has some mental issues she refuses to treat, so I took full custody. I recently dated a woman who was probably too young for me, 25, and she was an Instagram model, though not very successful. My daughter did a little child modeling and has had a lot of success on Instagram. There were times I felt like my girlfriend was using my daughter for Instagram likes, and she seemed jealous of her. Besides that, they got along alright. I broke up with my girlfriend 2 months ago after the stupidest fight. My daughter said something about college, and my girlfriend wanted to know if I was still going to pay for her college despite the Instagram money. Technically, she's made enough to pay for college, but I intend to pay for her education, and she can use that money for her future. This upset my girlfriend for some reason, and she was whining about how no one paid her for school, and she has so much debt, and she needs her Instagram career to take off. My daughter said, maybe you should get a day job, which maybe was a little bitchy, but she's not wrong. And my girlfriend said maybe you should get some real parents. I just saw red. I kicked her out that night, and that was the end of our relationship. Well, today I saw a picture she posted on damn Instagram of the three of us as a throwback Thursday. I feel like she's just using my daughter's name to get attention, so I commented that I would like all my pictures of my underage daughter removed from her account, and I included what she said. I guess she got some hate because she left me a voicemail crying. Oh my god, she said that to the daughter. That's so heartless. She's a piece of crap for saying that. Oh my, she has no place to say that. And the daughter wasn't out of line for telling her to get a day job. Everyone would tell her to get a day job. Being an Instagram model is not a full-time career. It is not a day job. It's just a hobby until it turns into a career. If you want to call influencers a career. Not many of them get to that level. I don't blame OP for his actions afterwards. I'd be pretty mad if I was him in this situation, so go off, sis. Full Metal Pine Tree says, I was prepared and even keen on thrashing you. But holy crap, who says something like that to a child? And who acts like that because a father wants to pay for the education of his child? Not the a-hole. Teach that immature influencer a lesson. Kinda off topic. I also hope you learned your lesson. While I'm all down for kinky stuff and free love, having a romantic relationship with a huge age gap, no idea how old you are, just gonna assume based on my idea of maturity age, can be dangerous and doomed to fail if you're in a different stages of maturity and or livelihood. That difference is, in my opinion, already given by the simple fact that you not only have a daughter, but that she is a minor and your now ex-girlfriend is barely older than her. Yeah, 8 years is generally quite a bit, but after that story, are we really going to judge her to have the maturity of a 25-year-old? Said the 22-year-old male student, of course. Hey, don't call me out. AITA, the undergrad person and pictures online thing. You were definitely right in demanding her to take them offline. Don't know where you live, but at least here in Germany, I'm pretty sure every lawyer would agree with that. Not the a-hole. Pro tip, don't date a chick that's closer to your daughter's age than your own age. Glad you dodged a bullet. She was a major a-hole. While I generally agree with your assessment, I would say that I hope most 25-year-olds would be way more mature than the girl OP dated. Most mature 25-year-olds are not trying to date someone a decade or more their senior. Not the a-hole. Good on you for protecting your daughter and not letting your ex monetize your images after the breakup. Posted by user Glasswatcher, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my stepdaughter she acts like a tramp? My stepdaughter is 20 and recently single. She always has been a social butterfly, to put it nicely. Her boyfriend left her over cheating rumors, which I wouldn't doubt for a second. My husband and I don't share the same views, and she's his little girl, which is fair enough. But I feel like she's too out there. She was only single for 2 weeks before hanging out with a new guy, and I spoke to my husband about this, and he told me to stay out of it and not say anything. I got angry at this, as I liked her ex, and I said she's become a tramp ever since she turned 18. My husband is ticked I said this. Am I the a-hole, or is he overreacting? Look, obviously the word is not tramp, it's someone who sleeps around a lot. And I don't know if it's the mum's place to be calling her out like that. I feel like she's an a-hole for straight up attacking her like that, although I can see where she's coming from. I know a lot of people are very opinionated on these matters. Me personally, I think leave her to her own devices for a little bit. Tell her, maybe we slow this one down, chief. I don't think attacking her for her character straight away, just right out the gate, don't think that's going to solve much. I think if we slowly ease into this talk, because she's 18 years old, she's going in and out of breakups, she's obviously not doing well emotionally, I wouldn't think. The mum, in my mind, took it too far by just attacking her straight away, and I believe the husband is right for being pissed off. Opie, you're the a-hole. For multiple reasons. 1, she's an adult and can do what she likes. You don't get to criticize her for choosing to date after a breakup. 2, you went to your husband and complained, as if he was going to tell her to change? What the hell? How did you think the conversation, "Hey darling, I think your daughter is too promiscuous and needs to change as a person," was going to go down? Obviously he was going to be upset with you. 3. Calling her a tramp, obviously a different word, is disgusting. A woman is allowed to enjoy sex without being criticized. If it was a stepson instead, would you still criticize him for finding a new partner? Shaming is a gross result of a misogynistic society. If you really cared about your stepdaughter, you would be empowering her to make her own choices and maybe offer advice about being safe. That's it. Instead, you went to her father to attack her for how she chooses to live her life, and that makes you the a-hole. All of this. Shaming is awful, and especially when it's your stepdaughter. She should be empowering her and empathetic to the fact that she has a broken heart, probably. I'm a man, but agree with you. Why is a woman who has sex with many men called a whore, but a man who has sex with many women is applauded? It's ridiculous. People should just be allowed to live how they want, as long as they're not hurting anyone. I'm gonna speak for myself. It's not even applauded back home. It's kind of even looked down on for anyone to sleep around that much. Not gonna lie. I feel like it's more an American stereotype that people are cool with it, because it's definitely not completely socially acceptable in my groups in Australia. You're the a-hole. Sounds like you're a bit of prude, to be honest. As long as everything is safe and consensual, it isn't hurting anyone if she sleeps with the entire Marine Corps. Mind your business and focus on your own sex life, or lack thereof. Posted by user TBI Journal Girl, titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend to get rid of her journal?" My 34 male girlfriend, 25 female, has a traumatic brain injury, TBI, that she got when she was 20 from a horse accident. Her skull was fractured in 2 places, she spent time in the hospital and physical therapy, and months away from work. It was a long road, but she is a completely different person now. You can't even tell anything is wrong with her, except for a scar above her eyebrow. That being said, the accident left her with a TBI nonetheless. She's been left with a multitude of issues to work through that her neurologist said may get better with time or not. One of her many issues is memory loss. She had a lot of tough times because of this: friends, family, and when she went back to work. Something she found that worked for her was carrying a small journal with her at all times. It started when she went back to work in the vet field and had to figure out how to remember things the doctors were telling her. She works ER, so it's quite hectic and stressful at times, and she almost quit before deciding to write everything down. And when I say everything, I mean it. Now that she has that journal, she carries it everywhere, even outside of work. We're joining friends at a bar? Journal. Dinner with parents? Journal. One of our friends states something? Down in the journal. And she holds on to them. So she has tons of little books with friends and family's info, work stuff, you know. I finally asked her to leave the journals to work, as it's embarrassing to be seen with her constantly writing things down people say to us. She'd called me an a-hole and said she couldn't believe I would ask her to do that. Am I the a-hole? It's just with friends, not work. How can the OP write this entire story about her traumatic brain injury and then be like, you know what, I don't like that she's remembering stuff. This is her way to remember everything. Gah, disgusts me, it's embarrassing. Who just writes everything down so they can remember it? Because their own brain can't remember it. What are you, an idiot? Just get over the TBI, what are you doing? Surely it could be a little bit unbelievable, but you can always attribute malice to something that could easily just be stupidity, ignorance. I'm just going to say that OP is extremely ignorant, because that's just a stupid request. I wouldn't stay with this man if I was the girlfriend with the TBI. I would run so fast from that relationship, and I wouldn't even put it down in my journal so I could forget him. You're the a-hole. Who are you to say how much her memory suffers? This journaling hurts no one, and your embarrassment is completely apathetic to what happened to her. Let her cope how she chooses. This is completely benign. I'm in awe how he acknowledges her TBI, and then continues to basically state, look, I get that she has to carry her brain outside of her body in the form of her journals, but I'd rather have her feeling scared and with memory loss about what is literally going on every minute of her life than be seen with someone with a booklet. OP, you're the a-hole, what the hell? She tries to be less dependent on the people around her. I would struggle to note everything down. She adapted quickly, working in emergency response nonetheless. Shame on you. I like how he says it's just with friends, as though there's no need for her to want to remember stuff that's going on with her friends. A friend forgetting stuff that you've told them, or important events, can be a big source of conflict in a relationship, as with most people, it's an indicator that they don't care. She probably knows this, and may even have run into issues in the past. It's like how people get frustrated repeating stuff to people with hearing loss, even if they know what they've been through. Also, even if they are understanding, it fudging sucks, like, your friend is going through something, or made an internal joke, and you can't remember it. Our relationships are based on what we've gone through together, and how well you know the other person. Like, if you can't remember it, then it makes things almost impossible. Also, you're the a-hole, OP. You're the a-hole, a huge gaping a-hole. If you're embarrassed, you don't deserve her. She needs this to function. Probably no one cares. It stands out, but like really? It's such a small thing. And a small thing that makes daily life so much easier for her. Also, my cousin had a TBI 15 plus years ago and does the same thing. He still journals everything. He probably always will. If you're not prepared to deal with that for the rest of your life, then she doesn't need you dragging her down. Yeah, how in the hell could he be embarrassed over her journal? I think she sounds like a strong woman who does her best, who wants to live life to its fullest and enjoy times with others by remembering it. To phrase it bluntly, OP is telling his girlfriend that the memories they create as a couple are less important than his image. For that, he's honestly one of the worst boyfriends I've ever seen featured here. I've read about financial abuse, guys who steal their girlfriends' phones to prevent them from having a social life, just loads of awful people, but even entertaining the idea that her memories are less than his image is honestly one of the most blatant forms of dehumanization I've had the displeasure of reading. Posted by user Hide From My Wife Burner, titled, Am I the a-hole for calling my wife a do-nothing tramp when I do everything in the house? We are a one-income family and I make all the money. I work and she stays home with the kids. Every day I come home to a trashed house. My wife claims that she cleans, but the house is filthy every day. I do all the dishes, do all the laundry, take out the trash, do all the cooking, etc., etc. I don't know what the hell is wrong with her, but she flat out refuses to do almost anything. She doesn't even do anything with the kids when she's home all day. They just watch Disney Plus or Netflix. It is too hot for her to go outside. I'm just fudging sick of being responsible for every little thing. It didn't used to be this way. She has slowly regressed over a period of 3 to 4 years. Everything came to a head this morning when I told her I can't do it all the time, and she needs to stop leeching off me. I told her to get her crap together or get out of the house that I pay for. She lost her mind over this, and we were yelling back and forth. She asks why I want a divorce, and I said no one in their right mind wants to be married to a do-nothing tramp like her. Am I the a-hole? I think you guys are just both being very nasty in this situation, and I do think either you guys sort this problem out or you just get divorced. If you've been holding this anger for 3 to 4 years, figure it out. You know your wife better than everyone here. I understand you venting, but there really only is so much advice that can help you before action is all you've got left. So, you're the a-hole, but she's an a-hole as well. You guys need to sort yourselves out. Everyone sucks here. I'm not sure what your desired outcome is, but the way you handled it isn't likely to accomplish much. Calling someone a do-nothing tramp isn't likely to accomplish much besides breed resentment and get you guys to hate each other. I think it's pretty clear that it's too late for that. OP already resents and hates his ex. The only reason to stay civil is because of the children. Everyone sucks here, dude. If she won't get help, start divorce proceedings or get couples counseling. Those are your options. It sounds like you two got into an abusive spiral. No matter who is most wrong, this kind of environment isn't good for you, your kids, or even your wife. End the cycle before it gets worse, and from your comments, it sounds like outside intervention is necessary. Alright, and I think that's where we're going to leave today's episode, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed the content today. If you guys loved watching it as much as I loved making it, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel already if you haven't. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below, maybe like the video, who knows. I'd also like to take this time to thank my awesome Patreon and channel members. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably be homeless on the streets of Ireland, crying, Irish dancing all over town. It would just be a mess. But no, for real, you guys are up on the screen now. Thank each and every one of you guys. And if you personally want to join the club yourself, there are links down in the description below. There's also the join button next to the subscribe button. Small monthly fee, but hey, it goes a long way to help me create more awesome content. Well, with that said, guys, I hope you do have a lovely day, night, sleep, evening, day at work, day at school, whatever you're up to. I hope you keep awesome today. You're looking amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.